And we are prime for the war zone, folks. We talked about this at the beginning of the show. One of the most replayed, downloaded, rewound segments in the history of television comes up next. So naturally, it's Mark Mero versus Salvatore Sincere. But Mark Mero comes out. Salvatore Sincere is already in the ring. Mike, I've watched the 1998 Royal Rumble 9,000 times in my life. Mm-hmm. And I always forgot who Tom Brady was, who, spoiler alert, for our live Royal Rumble show, he's entrant number 3. Salvatore Sincere is standing in the ring, and Mark Mero comes out and says he mopped up the mat with Butterball, obviously talking about Butterbean last night during the Tough Man competition. He says the punch heard around the world, a.k.a. the stool shot that Mark Mero hit him in the back of the head with, left him laying. He said he's mad at Vince McMahon because Vince, he has marvelous Mark Mero versus a jobber and a jabroni like this guy, and points at Sal Sincere. Says, you're not even really Sal Sincere. You're Tom Brady, who's agreed to do this stupid gimmick. We're pulling back another layer of the fourth wall and kind of showing. And the crazy thing is Sal Sincere is just standing there going, hey, brother, I'm just here for the payday. Yeah. He's just nodding along with everything he's saying.
I'll be sincere. I have no idea who the hell that guy was. So.
The great line here from Jim Cornette on commentary is he makes a reference to Johnny B. Bad, who's Mark Mero's gimmick in WCW. So hey, it's like, Mark, you've done some pretty out there gimmicks in your time as well. But Mero tells Brandy that he's going to kick his butt, and he's going to introduce. Before he does so, he's going to introduce somebody that's never won the Intercontinental Championship, never won anything, a real loser, and brings out the new and improved Sable. Yep. And Sable comes out wearing an Idaho potatoes burlap sack.
Writing's on the wall there.
Which leads me to a question. Where do you get that large of a potato sack for somebody to wear out to the ring in this situation? What exactly was going on in creative where they said, hear me out. We get a burlap sack, pal. She wears it to the ring.
Nothing sexier than burlap.
So Sable gets into the ring and Mero asks for Sable to strip off his robe and his wardrobe. She turns to the crowd, a la Jim Halpert, and then rips off the potato sack, and she is wearing a very, very skippy thong bikini that doesn't cover a whole lot of anything. The other thing that's interesting about this, we've kind of talked about this. Listen, this is no complaint because we've been burying the fact that they've been doing this. This happens on this show. Sunny is nowhere to be seen on this episode of Raw.
Other than the Street Fighter tournament, they kind of do like as commercials.
Yeah, she's not live there.
Yeah, that was just cringe enough by itself. But yeah, no Sunny, which we're kind of.
Oh shucks.
Yeah,
that's
sorry. Sable is definitely helping some young men usher in their puberty.
Yeah, and listen, Tori Wilson in Hall of Fame speech said she was happy to do so. So maybe Rena Mero was as well. But Tom Brady delivers the drop kick to Mark Mero. Mark Mero goes out of the ring, gets counted out. So Tom Brady, Salvatore Sincere, 1-0 against Mark Mero. Never forget. But Mark runs up the ramp and is trying to cover Sable back up with the burlap sack, and she makes sure to do as many 360s the whole way up the ramp as she can, just in case anybody's turning into the channel for the first time of the night.
And I had a question. I forgot to ask you and Brian in the last episode when Mark Mero came out for the Tough Man boxing competition. Mm-hmm. He pulled a sign out of the crowd that said "Sable Who." You think that was a plant, or do you think some nerd actually brought that sign?
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah. I don't think it was a plant, which means I believe that somebody would have actually brought that sign to the arena. Maybe it was Mark Mero's mom.
Yeah.
Probably about the only person it could have been. Hey, maybe it was you. If you were In Your House to Generation X in 1997, go ahead and leave us a comment in the YouTube comments today. We'll thank you for your services.
If you were a true Mark Mero fan, I apologize.
For you being a Mark Mero fan, not for the said, by the way. But we get to the end cap, the main event of the night. It is the rematch between. That was just a glimpse into what Analyzing Attitude has to offer. If you liked what you saw here, here's what we suggest next for you. And
if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you.
Like and subscribe.